movement to peace will begin with an energy and infrastructure ceasefire. The hour-and-a-half-long call was the first known conversation between the two leaders since Ukraine backed a U.S. proposal for a 30-day ceasefire. NBC News senior White House correspondent Kelly O'Donnell joins us now from Washington. Kelly, first off, what more can you tell us about this call between the two leaders?
Well, President Trump is adding in his own voice on his social media platform his perspective on how the call went. And what is critical at a juncture like this is the Kremlin will describe the call in a certain way. The White House will have an approved response that they put out in a statement about the topics and the objectives and what happens. And then now we can add to that with the president's own assessment, where he writes that it was a productive call with Vladimir Putin. He talks about the fact that he's focusing on energy and on infrastructure as being a part of the ceasefire. Let's look at it in full screen there if we can. He talks about how ultimately he hopes this will bring about an end to the war. And he says that there will be an understanding that they will have to work quickly to get a complete ceasefire. That's notable because obviously the president set the stakes very high for all of this. And this is really now clearly an incremental stage. The president does not make a specific reference to the next steps for Ukraine, but he does reference President Putin and President Zelensky wanting to see an end to this war. We know that Zelensky had already communicated to the U.S. that he wanted to be part of a ceasefire. And so this is a way for the president to try to claim a victory in the fallout or the aftermath of the call, to say this is something that he was able to achieve, and then to kind of outline some of the next steps. Ultimately, Vladimir Putin will play a big role on whether or not he complies with this. He has a history of not complying, so that will be a critical test, and certainly Ukraine's response to it. But getting this war over is something President Trump says is a high priority, and he wants to have a part in making that happen. Zinkley?
Kelly O'Donnell with the latest for us. Thanks so much. Time now for some consumer news. General Motors is recalling 90,000 cars and the cheapest states for you to launch a new business. Julia Borston joins us now with today's CNBC Money Minute. Hey, Julia.
Hi, Zinkley. Well, General Motors is recalling more than 90,000 vehicles over transmission issues. The National Highway Traffic Safety Administration said vehicles with a 10-speed transmission could suffer excessive wear that could lock up the wheels and increase the risk of a crash. The recall affects Cadillac CT models and Chevrolet Camaros from 2020 to 2022. NASDAQ is planning to open a second U.S. headquarters in Texas. The Wall Street Journal reporting the stock exchange operator will open a regional headquarters later this year in Dallas that will be home to its technology and financial crime management business, along with winning listings. NASDAQ's plan is the latest sign of Texas's growing threat to New York's financial dominance. And while it's hard to start a business in any state, it might help to set up shop in Utah. According to online small business advisor Simplify LLC, the state is the cheapest state to open a new business in 2025. Utah has some of the lowest corporate taxes in the country at 4.65% and utility costs. The next 9 states in the top 10 are either in the West or Midwest. Zinkley, back over to you.
All right, good information for